flexible metal conduit, or FMC, installation is governed by specific rules within the National Electrical Code, NEC, particularly Article 350. Section 350.24 addresses accessibility, which is a key consideration when installing FMC within walls, ceilings, or floors. Specifically, 350.24 paragraph B states that FMC shall not be concealed within walls, ceilings, or floors that are finished or are to be finished with materials that will make them accessible. However, the code provides some exceptions to this rule. Exception number 1 allows for FMC installation in stud, joist, or rafter spaces that are reasonably accessible. Exception number 2 permits FMC in unfinished attics or basements. Exception number 3 is crucial. It states that FMC can be installed in accessible hollow spaces where the length of the run does not exceed 10 feet. This directly addresses the question of installing 15-foot widths of FMC within walls for future use. Because the proposed 15-foot length exceeds the 10-foot limit specified in exception number 3, the installation would not comply with the NEC unless it meets the requirements of another exception or is otherwise accessible. The term accessible is used in the NEC means admitting close approach because of not being guarded, locked, or otherwise prevented from access. The phrase readily accessible means capable of being reached quickly for operation, renewal, or inspections without requiring those to whom ready access is requisite to climb over or remove obstacles or to resort to portable ladders, and so forth. Therefore, if the FMC is installed in a manner that allows for easy inspection, maintenance, and replacement without requiring significant effort or the removal of building finishes, it could be considered accessible. However, simply having access panels might not automatically qualify as accessible if the panels are difficult to reach or require specialized tools to open. It is important to note that the code uses the term reasonably accessible. This implies a degree of judgment and depends on the specific installation conditions. Factors such as the size and location of access panels, the ease of removing obstructions, and the overall effort required to reach the FMC should be considered. In addition to the accessibility requirements, Section 350.28 addresses the extension of wiring within walls, ceilings, or floors. It states that conduit and tubing shall be extended through walls, ceilings, and floors, and from panel boards and cabinets to outlets and switch points in a concealed wiring system, without the use of couplings or fittings inside of them. This provision is important for maintaining the integrity of the wiring system and preventing potential points of failure. When planning an FMC installation, firstly, carefully consider the accessibility requirements outlined in 350.24. Determine if the proposed installation location meets the definition of accessible or readily accessible. Secondly, evaluate the length of the FMC run. If it exceeds 10 feet, ensure that it complies with exception number 1 or 2, or that it is otherwise accessible for maintenance purposes. Thirdly, adhere to the requirements of 350.28 regarding the extension of wiring within walls, ceilings, or floors. Avoid using couplings or fittings inside concealed spaces. Fourthly, consult with a qualified electrical inspector to ensure that the proposed installation complies with all applicable codes and regulations. Electrical codes are subject to interpretation and local amendments, so it is always best to obtain expert advice before proceeding with any electrical work. Fifthly, use appropriate fittings and connectors that are listed for use with FMC. Ensure that all connections are properly tightened and secured to prevent loosening or damage. Sixthly, protect the FMC from physical damage during and after installation. Avoid running it in areas where it could be subjected to impact or abrasion. Seventhly, properly support the FMC at appropriate intervals. This will help to prevent sagging or movement, which could damage the conduit or the conductors inside. Eighthly, label all access panels or junction boxes associated with the FMC installation. This will help to identify the location of the wiring and facilitate future maintenance or repairs. Ninthly, document the installation thoroughly. Keep records of the location of the FMC runs, the type of fittings used, and any relevant code interpretations. Tenthly, consider the potential for future changes or modifications to the wiring system. Design the installation in a way that allows for easy access and expansion if needed. When installing FMC, it's crucial to understand the ampacity of the conductors, which is the current carrying capacity. This is outlined in NEC Article 310. The allowable ampacity depends on several factors, including the conductor size, insulation type, and the ambient temperature. It is imperative to select conductors with an ampacity that is sufficient for the intended load to prevent overheating and potential fire hazards. Furthermore, diluting factors may need to be applied if multiple conductors are installed in close proximity or if the ambient temperature is high. The NEC provides tables and guidelines for determining the appropriate ampacity and diluting factors for various wiring configurations. Grounding is another essential aspect of FMC installation. All metallic conduits and enclosures must be properly grounded to provide a low impedance path for fault currents. This helps to protect people and equipment from electrical shock in the event of a fault. The grounding requirements for FMC are outlined in NEC Article 250. The grounding conductor must be sized appropriately and connected to a grounding electrode system. In addition to grounding, bonding is also important. Bonding refers to the connection of metallic parts to create an electrically conductive path. This helps to minimize voltage differences between different parts of the electrical system. Bonding is typically accomplished by using bonding jumpers or bonding screws. When working with FMC, it's also important to be aware of the different types of fittings and connectors that are available. There are straight connectors, angle connectors, and couplings for joining sections of FMC. There are also fittings for connecting FMC to boxes and enclosures. It is imperative to select fittings that are listed for use with FMC and that are appropriate for the specific application. Furthermore, it's vital to use the correct tools when installing FMC. A conduit bender is used to bend the conduit to the desired shape. A conduit cutter is used to cut the conduit to the appropriate length. A reamer is used to remove any burrs or sharp edges from the cut end of the conduit. A screwdriver and wrench are used to tighten the fittings and connectors. Always follow the manufacturer's instructions when using these tools. Safety should always be a top priority when working with electricity. Always turn off the power before working on any electrical circuits. Wear appropriate personal protective equipment, including safety glasses and gloves. Use insulated tools to prevent electric shock. If you are not comfortable working with electricity, it is best to hire a qualified electrician. In the context of future use, the installation of FMC whips raises questions about unused conductors. If conductors are pulled into the FMC for future use, they must be properly terminated and insulated to prevent accidental contact or shorts. The NEC addresses the requirements for unused conductors in Section 408.41. which requires that they be identified and insulated. The insulation must be rated for the voltage and temperature of the circuit. Furthermore, the unused conductors must be securely supported and protected from physical damage. When planning for future use, it is also important to consider the potential load requirements. The size of the conductors and the capacity of the FMC must be sufficient to handle the anticipated load. It is always best to overestimate the load requirements to provide a margin of safety. In addition, consider the accessibility of the FMC and the conductors. If the FMC is concealed behind walls or ceilings, it may be difficult to access the conductors in the future. Therefore, it is important to plan the installation carefully and provide adequate access points. Regarding the specific situation of installing 15-foot whips of FMC concealed within walls, the installation would generally not be permitted under the NEC unless it meets one of the exceptions outlined in 350.24b. The most relevant exception is exception number 3, which allows for FMC to be installed in accessible hollow spaces where the length of the run does not exceed 10 feet. Because the proposed length exceeds 10 feet, this exception would not apply. The other exceptions, number 1 and 2, may apply depending on the specific installation conditions. Exception number 1 allows for FMC to be installed instead joist or rafter spaces that are reasonably accessible. Exception number 2 allows for FMC to be installed in unfinished attics or basements. If the FMC is installed in one of these locations and is considered reasonably accessible, it may be permitted. However, the definition of reasonably accessible is subject to interpretation by the electrical inspector. Therefore, it is important to consult with the inspector before proceeding with the installation. If the installation does not meet any of the exceptions, it would not be permitted under the NEC. In this case, alternative wiring methods such as EMT or rigid conduit may be considered. These wiring methods may offer more flexibility in terms of installation and accessibility. In summary, the installation of 15-foot widths of FMC concealed within walls for future use is generally not permitted under the NEC unless it meets one of the exceptions outlined in 350.24b. The most relevant exception is exception number 3, which allows for FMC to be installed in accessible hollow spaces where the length of the run does not exceed 10 feet. Because the proposed length exceeds 10 feet, this exception would not apply. The other exceptions may apply depending on the specific installation conditions. Always consult with a qualified electrical inspector before proceeding with any electrical work. The NEC is a complex document and interpretations may vary. The inspector can provide guidance on the specific requirements for your installation and ensure that it complies with all applicable codes and regulations. Furthermore, consider the ampacity of the conductors, the grounding and bonding requirements, and the availability of appropriate fittings and connectors. Safety should always be a top priority when working with electricity. Always turn off the power before working on any electrical circuits. Wear appropriate personal protective equipment and use insulated tools. If you are not comfortable working with electricity, it's best to hire a qualified electrician. Remember that electrical codes and regulations are constantly evolving. It is important to stay up to date on the latest changes and to consult with qualified professionals to ensure that your electrical installations are safe and compliant.